This call is now being recorded.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon all. So in the last 2-3 lectures, we have started the problems based on the bending stress calculation, and based on this particular point, we have solved near about 4 to 5 problems. Some of the problems are related to the rectangular section. Some problems are related to the unsymmetrical I section. Then in the last lecture, we have solved one problem based on the T sections. Okay. So again, today we'll solve some of the 2-3 problems, and maybe after that we will finish this particular chapter if possible today. Otherwise, we will finish it tomorrow. Okay. So now this is the problem. Next problem in front of you. It is related to the I section. So try to read the statement carefully. Understand that particular statement because sometimes the figure will not be given. By using the statement, you have to draw that particular figure and find out the unknown parameters. So let us see. A cast iron beam of I section. A cast iron beam of I section is simply supported. So type of beam is mentioned. It's simply supported on a span of 6 meter. So whatever the simply supported beam is given, its length or its span is 6 meter. The section consists of top flange. I section is there, in that the top flange is there, bottom flange is there, in that it consists of top flange having dimensions 60 mm by 20 mm, that is B into D. Then web 180 mm by 20 mm, that is 20 mm width and 180 mm depth, and bottom flange having dimensions 160 mm by 40 mm. So always whatever the depth is given, the depth is always maximum as compared to the width. So whatever the capital D or small d is there, that capital D or small d is always maximum in case of a I section and the T section. Therefore here we can see that the top flange 60 mm width, 20 mm depth. Here web 180 mm, it is taken first, but that 180 mm it should be depth and 20 mm it is the width, and the bottom flange having the dimensions as a 160 mm width and the 40 mm depth. Full stop. Find UDL on the beam. Find UDL on the beam if tensile stress should not exceed by 30 Newton per mm square. Full stop. Also find corresponding maximum compressive stress. The problem is totally different than previous problem, whatever we have solved. The statement is somewhat same, that is one I section is there. And if you look at this particular dimensions of the I section, the dimensions of the top flange and the bottom flange, they are not same. Therefore, whatever the I section is given, this is the unsymmetrical I section. Then this I section is of simply supported beam having span 6 meter, and at the end they have asked find out the UDL. That means here one standard case is there, that is simply supported beam with UDL on entire span. But here magnitude of UDL we have to calculate. Here magnitude of UDL is not given for the bending moment calculation. We have to calculate that particular UDL value in terms of Newton per mm or kilonewton per meter. And for that particular UDL calculation, if tensile stress should not exceed 30 Newton per mm square. Tensile stress means here one bending stress is given which is called as a sigma T. Tensile means sigma T. This is one bending stress which is developed in that particular beam. That means sigma T is given 30 Newton per mm square, and also we have to find out corresponding compressive stress. That means UDL we have to calculate, compressive stress we have to calculate, and for that UDL and compressive stress calculation, sigma T as a tensile bending stress 30 Newton per mm square it is given. Okay, so first of all you just write down all the given parameters. So length of beam is given 6 meter, that is 6000 mm. Sigma T is equal to 30 Newton per mm square. We have to calculate magnitude of UDL, means W we have to calculate, and sigma C as a compressive stress we have to calculate. And the type of beam is already mentioned. So type of beam means simply supported beam which is supported at the two ends. So at point A support is there, at point B support is there, and it is subjected to UDL on entire span. But magnitude of UDL is not given, W kilonewton per meter. length of beam is given 6 meter. Okay, so this is one standard case, that is simply supported beam subjected to UDL. Now before that, as I have to calculate the W, as I have to calculate the sigma C. So first of all, we have to draw the figure of the I section by using their dimensions. So the top flange dimensions 60 mm by 20 mm and bottom flange dimensions 160 by 40. That means the size of the top flange is less as compared to the bottom flange. So according to this, here I will draw the I section, which is unsymmetrical I sections. Accordingly, draw this particular figure in your notebook also. This is the I section. The center of each section, that is section number 1, section number 2, and section number 3. This is the center of section number 2. Okay. The top flange having dimensions, it is given in the statement, that is 60 mm width, 20 mm depth. Wave dimensions, its width is given as a 20 mm and depth of the width is given 180 mm. Bottom flange 160 mm width and 40 mm depth is given. Okay, so this is top flange, this is wave, and bottom flange is there. Draw the figure accordingly in your notebook. Okay, so this is the unsymmetrical I section. So as per the condition given, first of all, we have to calculate the capital M, because the simply supported beam with UDL and underspan, that is as per condition of simply supported beam, capital M is equal to, what is the formula for the simply supported beam with UDL? Yes. What is the formula for the simply supported beam subjected to UDL on entire span? What is the M formula?
WL square upon 8.
WL square upon 8. Please check that list I have given. WL square upon 8. But here the W is not given. So keep that W as it is. Into length is given 6000 square divided by 8. Tell me the value of M in the form of W. That is M is equal to W into, so 6000 square divided by 8. What is the value? W into, what is the value? 6000 square divided by 8. In the form of W, you will get the value of M.
4.5 into 10 raised to 6.
4.5 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, so this is the value of M we have calculated in the form of W, because UDL value is not given. So keep this particular equation as it is. Now this is the unsymmetrical I section. If you go through this particular figure, this is the unsymmetrical I section. Therefore, for this particular unsymmetrical I section, I have to calculate the Y bar by using the formula A1Y1 plus A2Y2 plus A3Y3 divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3. So now, before that, first of all, we have to calculate their A1, A2, A3 and Y1, Y2, Y3. Therefore, A1 for the section number 1, 160 into 40. Do this calculation immediately. A2 is equal to 180 into 20 and A3 is equal to 60 into 20. So do this calculations immediately and tell me the answers. So cross-sectional area A1, all the parameters should be in mm there, 6400 mm square. Okay, A1, then A2 is equal to A2 is equal to 3600. A2 is equal to 3600. Immediately calculate the A3, 1200 mm square. So now A1, A2, A3 we have calculated by using this particular figure. Okay. Now calculate Y1, Y2, Y3. So Y1 means here I will draw this bottom reference line.
3600.
Yes.
A2 3600 है सर.
A2.
A2चं व्हॅल्यू तुम्ही 360 लिहिलं.
3600 mm square. Okay. Okay. Now Y1 is equal to, here I have represented Y1 means CG distance of section number 1 from the bottom side. Then Y2, let us see. CG distance of section number 2 and Y3. Let us see here. The CG distance of section number 3. From the bottom side only I have represented Y1, Y2, Y3. So what is the Y1? 40 divided by 2 is equal to 20 mm. Then Y2 is equal to, what is the value of Y2? 180 divided by 2 plus 20. What is the Y2? 130 mm. And Y3 is equal to 20 divided by 2 plus remaining bottom distances as it is. 180 plus 20 is equal to, yes, 230 mm, correct. 230 mm. So Y1 20, Y2 is equal to 130 and Y3 is equal to 230 mm. So that is all the distances we have calculated. Try to represent the distances on your figure also. So you can understood very easily whenever you are studying this particular concept. Okay. Now all the distances we are having. So go for the calculation of Y bar and tell me the value immediately. I will write the formula A1 Y1 plus A2 Y2 plus A3 Y3 divided by A1 plus A2 plus A3. Tell me the Y bar value. Put all the values of A1, A2, A3 and Y1, Y2, Y3. Do the proper calculations and tell me the Y bar distance from the bottom side. Y bar distance from the bottom side. Yes, Y bar is equal to
77.85.
yes 77.85 mm. Okay. So this is the Y bar. Okay, 77.85. If I have to represent this particular Y bar means I have to represent the position of neutral axis from the bottom side. This is very important. Y bar we are calculating means we are representing the position of neutral axis. So here I will write. This is Y bar is equal to 77.85 mm. Then I have to calculate remaining Y bar from the top side and the neutral axis. So how the remaining Y bar is to be calculated now? Please tell me. The type of beam is the simply supported beam. Okay. The type of beam is the simply supported beam. Below the neutral axis, it is subjected to the tension or compression for the simply supported beam. Tension. So below the neutral axis, capital T is there. Above the neutral axis, capital C is there. Therefore, whatever the Y bar I have calculated, 77.85, that Y bar I will consider it as a YT. And if I have to calculate Y bar is equal to YC is equal to, what is the total height of the rectangular I section? 180 plus 20, 200. So 240. 240 minus 77.85. What is the remaining Y bar above the neutral axis?
162.15.
15 mm. Okay. So represent this Y bar also on the figure. That is y bar is equal to 165.15 mm is equal to yc, and bottom is equal to yt. That means by using that particular type of beam, here we have defined that which is the yt value and which is the yc value. Okay. So now all the y bars are calculated. Now again the section is unsymmetrical, therefore we have to go for the calculation of capital I is equal to Ixx is equal to Ixx1 plus Ixx2 plus Ixx3. Now immediately do the calculations. Ixx1 is equal to BD cube by 12 plus A1 in bracket y bar minus y1 bracket square. Here Ixx1, Ixx2, BD cube by 12 plus A2 in bracket y bar minus y2 bracket square, and Ixx3 is equal to BD cube by 12 plus A3 in bracket y bar minus y3 bracket square. So here whatever the y bar is there in Ixx1, Ixx2, Ixx3, that y bar we have to consider from the bottom side up to the neutral axis, because y1 distance, y2 distance and y3 distance we have taken from the bottom side. Therefore the y bar also we have to take from the bottom side. That means here for all the y bar we have to take 77.85 mm. So this 77.85 mm, this y bar we have to consider for the all the Ixx calculation. Now put the value for each and every section. Section number 1 we are having the value of BD, A1 we are having, y bar we are having, y1 we are having. Take the square of y bar minus y1 and tell me all the three values. Do the calculations properly here. Calculation part is very important. What is the Ixxn value, Ixx2? Try to represent your answer in the chat box so we can compare all the answers. For the first section, the value of B is 160, value of D is 40 cube. A1 already we have calculated. Yes, what is the Ixx1?
22.27 into 10 raised to 3.
22.27 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Others, please check your answer. 22.27 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Yes, 22.27. Do the calculations properly. Those who have calculated Ixx1 go for the Ixx2 calculation. That means vertical rectangle. For vertical rectangle second section, the value of B is 20 and value of D is 180. So 180 cube. A2 we have calculated, Y2 also we have calculated. Find the value of Ixx2. Yes,
19.51 into 10 raised to 6.
19.51 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Yes, check your answers. Others, 19.51 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. This is the Ixx2 value. Now go for the Ixx3 calculation. For the third section, the value of B is equal to 60 and value of D is equal to 20. A3 distance, Y3 distance already we have calculated.
27.81 into 10 raised to 6.
Yes, 27.81 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Yes, please compare your answers. Those who are calculating Ixx1, Ixx2, Ixx3. 27.81 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, now go for the addition. capital I is equal to Ixx is equal to, what is the total moment of inertia by making the addition? It is Ixx1 plus Ixx2 plus Ixx3. What is the total moment of inertia? What is the total moment of inertia? Yes, 69.59. 69.59 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Okay. So this is the total moment of inertia we have calculated. We have done the addition of Ixx1, Ixx2, Ixx3, and you got the answer 69.59 into 10 raised to 6. Now, as they have given, as sigma t is equal to 30 Newton per mm square. Okay. Sigma t is equal to 30 Newton per mm square, and we have to calculate the magnitude of UDL. Magnitude of UDL we have to calculate it. So we are having our bending stress formula. M upon I is equal to, here I can write the equation in the form of sigma t upon yt is equal to sigma c upon yc. Any combination I can take. So we are having the basic formula as a M upon I is equal to sigma upon y. Okay, but sigma I have represented in the form of sigma t, y I have represented in the form of yt. Okay, M upon I is equal to sigma t upon yt. This combination is also correct. Similarly, M upon I is equal to sigma c upon yc. This combination is also correct because this sigma t and the sigma c both are the bending stresses. Therefore, any combination I can use for my further calculation. Therefore, here M already we have calculated. M already we have calculated in the form of W. So that M value we can take as it is, that is W into 4.5. Let us see. W into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6. Okay. Value of I 69.59 into 10 raised to 6. Sigma T. Okay, if I will take the first combination, M upon I is equal to sigma T upon yt. Sigma T already it is given in the statement, that is tensile stress is equal to 30 Newton per mm square, and yt we have calculated as a y bar, that is 77.85. So here you will get only one unknown in the form of W. So if I write the equation in the form of W, that is 30 into 69.59 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 77.85 into 4.5, not 6, 4.5 into 10 raised to 6. So you will get the value of W as a UDL value. Tell me the answer. What is the UDL value? Just 5.95 Newton per mm, because all the parameters are present in a Newton, or all the dimensions are present. Maybe I in mm raised to 4, stress in Newton per mm square, yt it is present in mm. Therefore 59.95 Newton per mm. If I will write down the same value, W is equal to 55.95 kilonewton per meter. Both the answers are accepted. Both the answers are accepted, because whenever we are converting that particular UDL into Newton per mm, you will get the same value, because 10 raised to 3 from the numerator and 10 raised to 3 from the denominator, it will get cancelled. Therefore, value will remain same, but unit it will get changed. Please keep in mind, whenever we are converting that particular UDL from kilonewton to meter, sorry, kilonewton meter to Newton per mm, value will remain same, but their unit will get changed. Therefore, here I have written the same value in the form of Newton per mm or kilonewton per meter. Now this is the magnitude of UDL. Also, we have to calculate maximum compressive stress. Okay, so at that time I can use any combination. Let us see. M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC. I can use this particular combination, or I can use sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC, because whatever the equation number 1 is there, M upon I is equal to sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC. So if I will compare the sigma C and YC with M, now M is having value W into 4.5. W value already we have calculated. Okay, so we can use any type of combination. Now let us see here, that is W into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 divided by I, 69.59 into 10 raised to 6, sigma T 30 divided by 77, sorry, sigma C we have to calculate, divided by YC we have calculated 162.15. So here W value is already we have calculated, that is 5.95 into 10 raised to 6 into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 69.59 into 10 raised to 6 is equal to sigma C as it is divided by 162.15. So you will get the value of sigma C. What is the value of sigma C? Do the calculation. I have taken the formula M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC. M is available in the form of W, but W value already we have calculated. So put that particular W value, only you will get the sigma C as an unknown parameter. What is the value of sigma C? Yes. Voice is not properly audible. Type your answer in the chat box. Value of sigma C.
Sixty-two point 49 into 10 raised to 6.
62.49 Newton per mm square. Okay. Value of maximum bending stress. Now this sigma C is called as a maximum bending stress, because if we compare the sigma C with sigma T value is 30 Newton per mm square and sigma C value is 62.49 Newton per mm square. This is maximum as compared to sigma C. Therefore, maximum bending stress is equal to sigma C is equal to 62.49 Newton per mm square. This we have calculated by using the formula M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC. Okay. If I will use the second combination, which one? Let us see. Sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC. So put the value of sigma T 30. YT is equal to 77.85. Sigma C we have to calculate. YC 162.15. Now by using this particular combination, please check your answers whether it is similar to the previous one or different. Please check your answer by using this combination whether your sigma C value is correct or not. Previous answer we have calculated by using the moment and moment of inertia combination. Second answer I am verifying by using the sigma T and YT, because equation number 1 62.48. Please check your answer. 62.48 Newton per mm square. So again, the answer is same. You can use any combination for your calculation if the problem will be asked based on this. So either you can use M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC, or either you can use sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC, because the first equation I have written M upon I is equal to sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC. Okay. So now this sigma C is called as a maximum bending stress. Therefore, maximum bending stress, maximum bending stress is equal to sigma C is equal to sigma is equal to 62.48 Newton per mm square, and magnitude of UDL is equal to 5.95 Newton per mm is equal to 5.95 kilonewton per meter. So both the answers I have to write. So like that, this is the one problem where what is the last or previous problem, whatever we have solved in that, the magnitude of UDL is given. Therefore, you will get that particular bending moment in the form of answer. You will get that particular bending moment in the form of answer. But here we have to calculate the magnitude of UDL. Therefore, bending moment we have calculated in the form of W. But to calculate that particular W and to calculate that particular sigma C, the tensile bending stress, that is sigma T, it is given in the statement. If sigma T will not be given, then it is very difficult to find out either W value and the sigma C value. Therefore, if such question will be asked in which one stress is given and another magnitudes we have to calculate, at that time we have to use or we have to follow this particular procedure to calculate that particular W, find the value of M in the form of W, and at the end by using the bending stress formula by putting the value of sigma T. Sometimes sigma T will be given, sometimes sigma C will be given. Now here in this problem sigma T is given, sigma C we have to calculate. In some another problem, again the compressive stress will be given and we have to calculate the tensile stress. But procedure to calculate either W or stress using another stress, we have to calculate by using this particular procedure. Okay, so this is the one another variety of the problem where we have calculated the magnitude of UDL and the compressive stress by using the tensile stress. Okay, so this is the one problem. Now we'll solve one more second. It's somewhat different. The structure of that particular problem, whatever we are discussing now, it is somewhat different. Okay. Now read this particular statement carefully and understand how it is to be calculated. Let us see. Inverted T section. So normally T section, if you look at, if you're thinking about the T section, not inverted, simple T section. At the top side, horizontal rectangle is there, and at the bottom side of that horizontal rectangle, one vertical rectangle is connected. That means you will get the T section. But here they have given the word inverted. Inverted म्हणजे exactly opposite, ज्याला आपण त्याला उलटा म्हणतो, उलटा T section, opposite T section. So that T section is called as a inverted T section. Therefore, while reading the statement, try to check whether T section is given in the simple manner or it is given as an inverted T section. Let us see the inverted T section of the beam shown in the figure. So the figure for the T section, inverted T section is given. It is subjected to movement 4 kilonewton meter. Movement, that is capital M, is given, is applied at horizontal neutral axis, full stop. Find the stresses at extreme fiber. Stresses at extreme fiber means the stress developed at the top portion and stress developed at the bottom portion. वरच्या बाजूला आणि खालच्या बाजूला किती स्ट्रेस आलाय, that we have to calculate. Also calculate total tensile force. If I am calculating the tensile stresses and compressive stresses in the form of bending, so by using that particular tensile stress, I have to calculate total tensile force from the tensile region. Total tensile force developed by bending tensile stress below the neutral axis, as it is here given. Below the neutral axis, whatever the neutral axis is there, below that particular neutral axis, here they can say that the tensile region is present. Full stop. In bracket, beam is subjected to sagging bending moment. So yesterday we have solved problem based on this. Sagging means which type of beam is there? Simply supported or cantilever beam is there?
Simply supported.
Yes, simply supported beam is there means below the neutral axis, the portion is subjected to the tension. Above the neutral axis, portion is subjected to compression. In addition to that, in the statement also they have mentioned, calculate total tensile force developed by the bending tensile stress below the neutral axis. म्हणजे फिगर स्टेटमेंट मध्ये पण सांगितलंय की सेंट्रल ऍक्सिसच्या खालचा पोर्शन हा कुठला आहे तर टेन्साइल आहे. ओके, सो दिस इज द स्टेटमेंट गिवन. Before that, just we will write some given parameters. The value of M is given 4 kilonewton meter. So 4 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Okay, 4 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Then what about another parameters? That is sagging bending moment is given. That is simply supported beam is given. We have to calculate the stresses. That is, we have to calculate sigma T. We have to calculate sigma T, and we have to calculate tensile force. We can write it as a PT, as a tensile force we have to calculate. Okay, now but here the type of beam is mentioned, but the type of load is not mentioned. Type of beam means we can easily say that sagging bending moment is means the beam is subjected to the simply supported, but here the type of load is not mentioned and it is not required because bending moment value directly given. Okay, bending moment value directly given, so type of load is not required. Only type of beam is required to verify where is tensile region and where compressive region. Now the inverted T section is given, so that figure I will draw here. Their important dimensions are given, so let us see. This is the inverted T section, exactly opposite. Inverted means whatever this flange is there, this flange is given at the bottom side and the wave is present as it is. So this is the section number 1. This is the section number 2. The dimensions of the flange are given. This is 150 mm horizontal distance and this depth is given 50 mm. Okay, then whatever the wave is there, its dimension is 50 mm as a width, and their depth of this particular wave or the vertical rectangle is once again 150 mm. Okay, so this is the figure. So this is the bottom reference line from which we have to take the y1, y2 distances. Okay, so this is the actual figure. That is section number 1 is there, section number 2 is there. Now here this is the unsymmetrical section. So as I have to calculate sigma T and sigma C, first of all we have to calculate the y bar distances. First of all we have to calculate y bar distances. So here A1, A2. So A1 is equal to 150 into 50 and A2 is equal to 50 into 150. So 7500 mm square. Start your calculation in your notebook also. Okay, 7500. So y1 distance means the CG distance of section number 1 from the bottom side, and y2 distance I have represented on the figure. The CG distance of section number 2 from the bottom side. So for section number 1, y1 is equal to 50 divided by 2, 25, and y2 is equal to the section 2 having total depth is 150 divided by 2 plus remaining bottom side distance 50. So what is the y2 distance?
$125.
125 mm. Okay, now A1 is having, A2 we are having, y1, y2 we have calculated. Now tell me the value of y bar. Tell me the value of y bar. So formula y bar is equal to A1 y1 plus A2 y2 divided by A1 plus A2. Tell me the value of y bar. Means I have to represent the position of neutral axis. So here I will draw the neutral axis, that is center line. The position of neutral axis is very important. What is the y bar?
75.
Yes, 75 mm. So here I will write y bar from the bottom side. Y bar is equal to 75 mm. But as the beam is subjected to sagging bending moment means this is simply supported beam. So below the neutral axis, the region is tension. Above the neutral axis, region is compression. Therefore, whatever the first y bar we have calculated, this y bar is called as a YT. Therefore, y bar is equal to 75 is equal to YT. Then we have to calculate y bar distance above the neutral axis. So what is the total height? Another y bar. Total height is equal to 200. 200 minus 75. Therefore, y bar is equal to 125 mm is equal to YC. Yes. 125 mm is equal to YC. That means by using that sagging bending moment, we have segregated which one is the YT distance and which one is the YC distance. So above neutral axis, YC because compressive region, below neutral axis, YT because tensile region. Now y bar, both y bars we have calculated. Now next, again the section is unsymmetrical. So we have to calculate Ixx1 and Ixx2. Therefore, capital I is equal to Ixx is equal to Ixx1 plus Ixx2. Now go for the calculation immediately. Ixx1 is equal to BD cube by 12 plus A1 in bracket y bar minus y1 bracket square, and Ixx2 is equal to BD cube by 12 plus A2 in bracket y bar minus y2 bracket square. And tell me the value. Capital I is equal to Ixx1 plus Ixx2. Therefore, capital I. Put the value for the section number 1. The value of B is equal to 150 mm. Value of D is equal to 50 mm. A1, Y1, Y bar. What is the Y bar we have to take? Y bar will be from bottom side. That means for both the Ixx1 and Ixx2 calculation, Y bar we have to take as a 75 mm. Don't take 125. Bottom y bar we have to take
20.31.
Yes, Ixx1.
20.31 into 10
Yes.
to
20.31 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Yes, check your answers, others. Ixx1 is equal to 20.31 into 10 raised to 6. Yes, those who have calculated Ixx1 go for the calculation of Ixx2. For second, the value of B from the figure, value of B is equal to 50 mm. Value of D is equal to 150 mm. So BD cube by 12, Y2 distance also we have calculated. Tell me the value of Ixx2.
32.81.
Yes, 32.81 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to. Yes, 32.81 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Do the calculations and then make the addition. Addition, you will get the total moment of inertia.
53.12.
Yes,
53.12.
53.12 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to. This is the total moment of inertia at the neutral axis. Total moment of inertia at the neutral axis. 53.12 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. This is the total moment of inertia. Okay. Now moment of inertia we have calculated. YC distance also we have calculated. Now go for the further calculation part. Let us see. First, stress due to, okay, y bar is equal to YT is equal to 75 mm. So we are having the formula m upon I is equal to sigma upon y. So where y is equal to y is equal to y is equal to y bar is equal to YT. So bending moment already it is given. Bending moment already it is given 4 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 53.12 into 10 raised to 6. I have to calculate sigma t, yt 75. So you will get a the second stress due to y bar is equal to yc is equal to 125 mm. So again the formula m upon I is equal to sigma upon y. So here y is equal to y bar is equal to yc. So m 4 into 10 raised to 6, I 53.12 into 10 raised to 6. Here this is sigma c and this is 125. Therefore, you will get the sigma c. So tell me the value of sigma t.
5.64.
Yes, 5.64 Newton per mm square. This is sigma t. Please check your answer. 5.64. 5.64 Newton per mm square. This is the tensile stress or tensile bending stress. Tensile bending.
Sigma C 9.41.
Yes. Sigma c.
9.41.
Yes, 9.41 Newton per mm square. Okay. So sigma t means the stress developed at the bottom side. Means bottom side means totally bottom. This is the bottom side. If I will draw this stress distribution diagram, sigma t I have to represent at the right side. Sigma c I have to represent at the left side. And if I will draw this, so at the bottom side, sigma t is equal to 5.64. Okay, and at the top side, sigma c is equal to 9.41 Newton per mm square. This sigma t is applicable at this bottom side only. Let us see whatever dark line I have represented. This sigma t is applicable for the bottom side only. Similarly, sigma c, whatever we have calculated, it is 9.41 at the center point. Sigma t and sigma c both are 0. At the center point, sigma t and sigma c both are 0 means sigma t means sigma c is equal to your bending stress, means at the center point bending stress is equal to 0. But whatever 9.41 you will get, it is applicable at the top region only. म्हणजे काय फक्त वरची लाईन आहे त्या वरच्या लाईनलाच हा 9.41 आहे. त्याच्या खाली जर आपल्याला थोडाफार स्ट्रेस काढायचा असेल त्या पॉइंटला किंवा ह्या पॉइंटला, इथं 9.41 आहे, त्याच्या खालच्या बाजूला 9.3 असेल, त्याच्या खालच्या बाजूला 8.30 असेल, त्याच्या खालच्या बाजूला 6 असेल आणि सेंटरला तो काय होणार 0 होणार. तसंच इन केस ऑफ सिग्मा टी at the bottom side it is present at the 5.64. At the top here it may be 4, after that it may be 3, after that it may be 2, and here at the center point it becomes 0. Therefore whatever sigma t and sigma c we are calculating, these are present at the top portions and the bottom portions. This sigma t and sigma c will not be applicable at the center point. It is present at the top and bottom only. So sigma t and sigma c we have calculated. Now the third we have to calculate, that is total tensile force. Total tensile force below the neutral axis. Total tensile force below the neutral axis. Now if you go through this particular figure, neutral axis means, let us see, this is the one center line I have drawn. Below neutral axis your portion is tensile, above neutral axis your portion is compressive. Therefore whatever tensile force is developed, it will be developed below the neutral axis only. But below the neutral axis, whatever the maximum stress is there, tensile stress, that we have calculated 5.64. Okay, so while calculating the tensile force we have to consider the bottom region of the neutral axis. So whatever the hatching I am making, only this much region we have to consider for the tensile force calculation. That figure once again I will draw here. Let us see. This is the neutral axis. Okay. This is the portion of neutral axis. This is the y bar. Whatever we have calculated, y bar is equal to yt is equal to 75. Okay. So this dimension we know 50 mm. Bottom dimension also we know 150 mm. Here left side dimension also know 150 mm. Okay, so this is the portion hatching line. Let us see. This much amount of portion is present below the neutral axis, and in this particular region only tensile stress is there, because we have to calculate tensile force. So if I have to calculate the total tensile force, let us see. Total tensile force is equal to average tensile stress. This is very important. Average tensile stress into area under tension. So below the neutral axis, whatever the total area is there, below the neutral axis in the figure, whatever the total area is there, that area is called as the area under tension. Now why I have taken the average tensile stress? Because we have to take the average of this particular figure. So at the top side, means at the neutral axis, we have to take that tensile stress also. At the bottom side, we have to take this tensile stress also. That means at the center point of this particular section, you will get the average tensile stress. Therefore, if I have to calculate the average tensile stress, please tell me what is the tensile stress value at the neutral axis. What is the tensile stress value at the neutral axis?
0.
0. Okay, so this is 0. Plus, what is the tensile stress value at the bottom side?
25.
Yes,
Maximum.
maximum. But what is the value?
5.64.
Yes, 5.64 divided by 2, because I am taking the average between center line and the bottom side. Because whenever we have to calculate the total tensile force, at that time we have to take the average value of the tensile stress into area. Now below the neutral axis, if you think there is a small T section, neutral axis च्या खालच्या बाजूला जर तुम्ही बघितला तर एक small T section आहे, बरोबर आहे. तर त्या T sectionचा जर area जर मला काढायचा असेल, how to calculate that particular area? Let us see. The total 2 rectangles are there. Let us see. Horizontal rectangle number 1 and vertical rectangle number 2. Horizontal rectangle is having dimension, let us see, 150 into 50. And vertical distance or vertical rectangle are having the dimension. बघा, total distance bottom side पासून 75 आहे. त्या 75 मधून जर खालचं 50 mm जर सबट्रॅक्ट केलं तर किती मिळणार आहे तुम्हाला?
90.
Subtract. We have to go for the subtraction. Total height is 75. I have to calculate the vertical distance of vertical rectangle only. 75 minus bottom 50. 25 mm. Please check. It is represented on the figure. And cross-sectional area of section number 1 plus cross-section area of section number 2. It represents the total cross-section area of that section who is present below the neutral axis. मग section 1 चे dimensions किती आहेत? 150 into 50. Section 2 चे dimensions किती आहेत? 250 into 50. And if I will calculate, or if I will do this particular calculation, so I will get the total tensile force. Please tell me the total tensile force value. Cross-section area कसा पडलाय बघा.
26.43 into 10 raised to 6.
Total tensile force. Yes, how much? 20?
26.43.
26.43 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. Please check your answers. Others, please do the calculations properly. Average tensile stress into area. हा कशावरून आला फॉर्म्युला? Stress is equal to force upon area. Therefore, force is equal to stress into area. Okay, but here I have taken the average stress at the neutral axis and stress at the bottom side. So bottom side stress is equal to 5.64 and stress at neutral axis 0. Area below the neutral axis, one small t section is there, and in that small t section the two sections are there. One section is having dimension 150 by 50, another section is having dimension 50 by 25. दोन्हीची जर बेरीज केली तर मला त्या टोटल टी सेक्शनचा काय होतोय, एरिया अंडर टेन्शन मिळतो. Therefore the total tensile force is equal to 26.43.
Sir, screen sharing stopped.
I am facing some network problem. Let us wait. Please do the calculation. Those who are not doing the calculation, please do the calculation. Tell me the answer in the chat box. Yes, have you got the answer of what is the total tensile force? It's 26.43 into 10 raised to 3. It is important. Then you can write down the unit Newton. In kilonewton, we can say 24.67. In kilonewton, we can write down the value 24.67 kilonewton. Have you got the tensile force value? How it is to be calculated? Please check how it is to be calculated. Here, if they have asked to calculate the compressive force, then we have to consider the portion above the neutral axis. Here, they have calculated tensile force. If in any problem, if we ask to find out the tensile compressive force for this particular problem, above the neutral axis, the section is subjected to compressive force. At that time, if I have to calculate the average, 0 plus compressive force वरच्या बाजूला किती आहे आपला 9.41. 0 plus 9.41 divided by 2 आणि न्यूट्रल ऍक्सिसच्या वरचा पोर्शन इट इज अंडर कॉम्प्रेशन, त्यामुळे तिथे तुम्हाला एकच व्हर्टिकल रेक्टँगल मिळते. फॉर दिस पर्टिक्युलर प्रॉब्लेम, बिलो न्यूट्रल ऍक्सिस यू विल गेट द टी सेक्शन and above neutral axis you will get only vertical rectangle. Therefore, while calculating such tensile forces and compressive forces, please check where tensile region is there, where compressive region is there, and accordingly take that particular area under tension for tensile force compression and take area under compression for the compressive force calculation along with their average tensile stress or the compressive stress. Okay, now screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Have you understood this particular problem? How to go for the tensile force calculation? In last lecture also we have solved one problem based on this related to the tensile force calculation. Only we have to check where tensile region is there and where compressive region is there, and accordingly we have to use simple formula. Force is equal to stress into area. But stress we have to take average. जरी ऍव्हरेज घेतला तर एका बाजूचा स्ट्रेस 0 होतोय आणि दुसऱ्या बाजूचा मॅक्सिमम होतोय. इफ इट इज आस्क टेन्साइल then take tensile. If it is asked compressive, then take compressive and take the area under tension and take area under compression as per the asked in that particular numerical. Okay. Yes, everyone has understood how to calculate the tensile force. Yes, have understood how to calculate the tensile force.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now I will give one more problem. Okay. Now, one more problem is there. You just try to solve this particular problem. It is somewhat different. Related to that, we have solved one problem that is related to UDL value calculation. Okay. Now, I will give the figure directly. Again, one inverted T section is there. Okay, so this is one section, inverted T section having dimensions. Bottom flange 120 mm by 20 mm. Then wave dimensions here 20 mm. The height of this particular wave is given as a 180 mm. Okay, so this is the figure given here. This inverted T section, the type of beam, is also mentioned as a cantilever beam. Point A, point B. Length of the beam is also given as a 3 meter. W, kilonewton per meter. Okay. We have to calculate UDL value. In this particular problem, we have to calculate UDL value. For that purpose, they have given, if this one sentence is given, if allowable stresses in bending, for tension and compression be 120 megapascal and 100 megapascal respectively. That means sigma T is given 120 megapascal. Sigma C is given 100 megapascal. Okay. Determine safe value. This is safe value of UDL we have to calculate. So safe value of UDL we have to calculate. Both the stresses are given, sigma T, sigma C, it is also given. Now go for the calculation of first. Tell me the previous values. It is bending moment in the form of W, y bar distances, and the moment of inertia. Okay, tell me that particular all the important parameters. So if I have to calculate as per condition of cantilever beam, what is the formula? Capital M is equal to cantilever beam subjected to UDL on entire span. What is the formula for the M?
WL square by 2.
Yes, WL square divided by 2. So value of W keep as it is. The length of the beam is given 3 meter. So if I will convert it, 3000 square divided by 2. Okay. Then what is the value of M in the form of W?
4.5 into 10 raised to 6.
W into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm. Okay. This is the value of m. Now, from this particular figure, calculate the value of y bar and moment of inertia. The cantilever beam is there. That means below the neutral axis, the section is subjected to compression, and above the neutral axis, the section is subjected to tension. Yes, try to do the calculation, find out the A1, A2 from the figure, Y1, Y2 from the figure. Tell me the Y bar value from the bottom side, Y bar value from the top side, and tell me the IXX value.
Screen sharing stopped.
Yes, I am sharing that particular screen. Up to this, you start your calculation, your notebook. Tell me the Y bar value, maybe above the neutral axis, below the neutral axis, and total moment of inertia. Okay, tell me the Y bar value from the bottom side. Y bar is equal to A1 Y1 plus A2 Y2 divided by A1 plus A2. Yes, Y bar distance from the bottom side. What is the value of A1? Please tell me. I will verify the answer. What is the value of A1?
2400.
2400.
Yes. What is the value of A2 from the figure?
9000.
36.
Yes. Then what is the value of Y1?
10.
10.
Yes, 20 divided by 2, 10. What is the value of Y2?
110.
110.
110.
110, correct. 180 divided by 2, 90, and remaining distance 20. So you will get 110. Then put all the values in the Y bar equation and tell me the value as a Y bar.
$70.
70 mm. Whether this 70 mm we have to consider as a YT or YC.
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 Why? What is the
Cantilevered beam.
cantilever beam is there, and below the neutral axis, the section is subjected to compression. Above neutral axis, section is subjected to tension. This center line means your neutral axis is there. Therefore, this is the first Y bar. Whatever we have calculated, that is Y bar is equal to 70 mm, which is also called as a YC. And
Sir, Y
remaining,
bar 88.94 LSE.
which one? Y bar. Do the calculations properly. Use the proper formula. So this 70 mm, this is correct. YC. If I have to calculate Y bar is equal to YC, what is the total height of the T section? 200.
200.
200 minus 70. 130 mm. This is your YT distance. So 130 mm. This is your YT distance. Please do the calculations. 70 mm is correct or not? Calculation part is very important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What are the two Y bars we have calculated? Segregate that particular two Y bars in the form of YC and YT. Now here the type of beam is changed. Cantilever beam is there. Therefore below neutral axis it is compression. Therefore what is first Y bar we have calculated 70 mm. This is your YC. And above the neutral axis the total height of the inverted T section minus 70. You will get another Y bar that is above the neutral axis. 130 mm it is represented on the figure. 130 mm it is represented on the figure. Now calculate the moment of inertia. Tell me the values. Ixx1 and Ixx2. Use the formulas BD cube by 12 plus A1 in bracket Y bar minus Y1 square. BD cube by 12 plus A1 in bracket Y bar minus Y1 bracket square. Similarly, BD cube by 12 plus A2 in bracket Y bar minus Y2 bracket square. In both the Ixx1 and Ixx2, we have to take Y bar from the bottom side, that is 70 mm. Don't take 130 mm because it is represented above the neutral axis. Find out Ixx1 and Ixx2, and in total moment of inertia, capital I is equal to Ixx1 plus Ixx2 is equal to
8.91 into 10 raised to 6.
which one?
Ixx1.
What is value?
8.91 into 10 raised to 6.
8.91 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Please check your answers, others. 8.91 into 10 raised to 6.
8.75.
8.75. 72. 8.72. 8.75. What about others? Yes, 8.72 we can consider. Maybe it depends upon the number of digits. Whatever we are considering for the calculation, we'll consider 8.72 into 10 raised to 6. You can consider anyone. 8.91 it is also accepted. 8.75 it is also accepted. 8.72 it is also accepted. Yes, 8.73 it is also accepted. It depends upon the number of digits, whatever you are taking for the calculation. Ixx1 8.72, 8.73, 8.75. Somewhat you will get 8.91. It is correct. Now then calculate Ixx2.
15.48.
15.48. Yes, into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to. Yes, others, please check your answers. Ixx2 is equal to 15.48 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. Yes, 15.48. It is correct now. Then do the addition and tell me the total moment of inertia.
24.2.
Yes, 24.2 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. This is the total moment of inertia. This is called as the total moment of inertia. 24.2 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. So this is the total moment of inertia we have calculated. Now we have to calculate our main term, that is UDL value, safe value of UDL. And in the statement, they have given one sentence. If allowable stress in bending for tension and compression be 120 megapascal and 100 megapascal, allowable tensile stress, allowable stresses, allowable bending stresses means value of sigma T is given 120 megapascal. Value of sigma C is given 100 megapascal. This allowable means that beam or that particular T section can sustain the tensile stress up to 120 megapascal. That means up to 120 Newton per mm square. We can apply the tensile stress or up to 120 Newton per mm square or megapascal. That beam or that particular T section can sustain the load, and up to 100 megapascal that beam or that particular T section can sustain the compressive load. This is allowable stress. This 120 and 100, these stresses are not developed in that particular T section. These are not developed. These values are represented just for our understanding purpose. That is, that T section can sustain the tensile stress up to 120, and the same T section can sustain the compressive stress up to 100 megapascal. But these are the values not representing the tensile stresses and compressive stresses developed in that particular T section. हे डेव्हलप झालेले व्हॅल्यू नाहीत. फक्त हे काय करते, त्या पर्टिक्युलर टी सेक्शनच्या मॅक्सिमम रेंज ठरवते. म्हणजे आपण ह्या टी सेक्शन वर 120 पर्यंत 120 न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअर पर्यंत आपण स्ट्रेस अप्लाय करू शकतो किंवा तो सस्टेन करू शकतो. तसंच 100 मेगापास्कल किंवा 100 न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअर पर्यंत तो टी सेक्शन कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह स्ट्रेस काय करू शकतो, सस्टेन करू शकतो, किंवा आपण 100 न्यूटन पर एम एम स्क्वेअर पर्यंत कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह स्ट्रेस अप्लाय करू शकतो. दॅट मीन्स दिस लिमिट इट रिप्रेझेंट्स द maximum limit of that particular T section or the cantilever beam. So this particular value is 120 and 100. It will not be taken for further calculation. So for that purpose, what we have to do, let us see here. If both the stresses, tensile stresses and compressive stresses are given, and we have asked to find out the UDL value, at that time, what we have to do, just see here. We are using the formula M upon I is equal to sigma upon Y. This is the basic formula. From that I can write M upon I is equal to sigma T upon Yt is equal to sigma C upon Yc. Okay, from the formula number 1 I have written the bottom formula, that is sigma is replaced in the form of sigma T and sigma C. Y is replaced in the form of Yt and Yc. Now here I have to check that particular stresses, whether this particular stress is allowed or not. 120 megapascal and 100 megapascal. These are the allowable stresses, and we have to satisfy that particular condition whether that are allowable or not. So for that purpose, what we have to do, we have to check that particular stresses. Let us see. I will take sigma T upon Yt is equal to sigma C upon Yc. Okay. Here, if I have to calculate the sigma T, so I will write the equation sigma C upon Yc into Yt. So while calculating the sigma T, take this sigma C which is given in the statement. Take the sigma C which is given in the statement. किती दिलाय? 100 megapascal. What is the Yc distance? Yc distance is equal to 70. Yt distance is 130. Please tell me value of sigma T which is calculated from the given sigma C value. What is the value of sigma T from the sigma C value? Do the calculation. 100 divided by 70 into 130.
185.71.
Yes, 185.71 Newton per mm square. Okay, and this value is greater than 185.71. This value is greater than our 120 Newton per mm square. This value is greater than 120 Newton per mm square. That means maximum limit of the beam is 120 Newton per mm square. But actual stress developed in that particular T section is 125. Therefore, this 185.71 Newton per mm square is not allowed for further calculation. Means what we have taken by using the combination sigma t upon yt is equal to sigma c upon yc. In that particular equation, I have put the value of sigma c, which is given in the statement. I have calculated sigma t 185.71. But this 185.71 Newton per mm square, this value is greater than our given value of 120. Therefore, this 185 is not allowed for further calculation. That means we have to take only 120 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर. आपलं लिमिट किती आहे 120. ही जर सिग्मा टी ची व्हॅल्यू 185 पेक्षा किंवा 120 पेक्षा जर कमी आली असती, 100 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर आली असती, तर दॅट 100 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर वी विल कन्सिडर फॉर द कॅल्क्युलेशन. कारण जेवढा बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस तुमचा हा कमी डेव्हलप होईल तेवढा तुमचा बीम जास्तीत जास्त लोड काय करेल, सस्टेन करेल. बट हियर यू विल गेट द 185. So this 185 will not be allowed. We'll take 120 only for your further calculation. Similarly, see, sigma c upon yc is equal to sigma t upon yt. Here I have to calculate sigma c is equal to sigma t upon yt into yc. Okay. Now here sigma t is 120. जसं 100 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर घेतला तसं sigma t 100. Yt distance is equal to 130. YC distance is given 70. Tell me the value of sigma c. What is the value of sigma c by putting the value sigma t 120? What is the value of sigma c?
64.61.
64.61 Newton per mm square, and this is less than 100 Newton per mm square. This is less than 100 Newton per mm square. Now please tell me, then which value we have to take for the calculation? Either 64.61 or 100 Newton per mm square. Which value I have to take for further calculation? Stress हा आपल्याला maximum असला पाहिजे का minimum असला पाहिजे बीम मध्ये? Please tell me. The stress values in the beam, it is maximum or minimum?
Minimum.
Minimum value is required. So if I have calculated sigma t, one value I got 185, another value I am having 120. Therefore, out of 185.71 and 120 Newton per mm square, sigma t I will finalize as a 120 Newton per mm square for further calculation. Sigma c, one value I am having 64.61. Another value is given in the statement 100 Newton per mm square. Out of that, both the sigma c value, if I will compare it, I have to take the minimum sigma c value, that is 64.61 Newton per mm square. So whatever the two sigma 2 values I am having, out of that I have taken minimum. Whatever the two sigma c value I am having, out of that I have taken minimum for the further calculation. Because always both the bending stresses, it may be tensile stress, it may be compressive stress, both the bending stress value should be minimum. कारण जेवढा बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस तुमचा मिनिमम डेव्हलप होईल तेवढा तो बीम जास्तीत जास्त लोड काय करेल, सस्टेन करेल. कारण स्ट्रेस वाढला म्हणजे तुम्हाला त्या बीमवरचा लोड पण 100% वाढलेला असणार आहे. Therefore, if stress value is minimum, force is also minimum, and beam can sustain the maximum load without any bending. Therefore, please keep in mind, if in your statement both the values are given, sigma t is also given and sigma c is also given, at that time by using this particular equation, which one? Sigma t upon yt is equal to sigma c upon yc. पहिल्यांदा सिग्मा टी काढा, त्याच्यामध्ये सिग्मा सी व्हॅल्यू स्टेटमेंट मध्ये दिलेली पुट करा, जो सिग्मा टी येईल तो स्टेटमेंट मध्ये दिलेल्याशी कंपेअर करा, त्याच्यामधला मिनिमम स्ट्रेस पुढच्या कॅल्क्युलेशन साठी घ्या. सिमिलरली यूज दिस सेकंड कॉम्बिनेशन, ज्याच्यामध्ये सिग्मा सी व्हॅल्यू काढा, त्याच्यामध्ये सिग्मा सी काढताना स्टेटमेंट मध्ये दिलेली सिग्मा 2 म्हणजे 120 न्यूटन पर mm स्क्वेअर I have got one sigma c value. Again compare both the values, out of that take minimum, and now these are the two values which I have to take for my further calculation, and from that whatever the UDL I am going to calculate, that UDL value is called as a safe value of UDL. safe value म्हणजे जी काही UDL ची व्हॅल्यू तुम्हाला मिळेल ती UDL ची व्हॅल्यू म्हणजे विदाउट एनी बेंडिंग we calculated that particular load. Now final sigma T, final sigma C we are having. I will use our important equation, that is M upon I is equal to sigma T upon Yt is equal to sigma C upon Yc. Okay, first M upon I is equal to sigma T upon Yt. So M, it is available in the form of W. WL square by 2 आपण काढलेला आहे. That is W into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 divided by moment of inertia 24.2 into 10 raised to 6. Sigma T, safe value of stress 120, कारण 185 पेक्षा लहान आहे. So 120. Yt is equal to 130. So find the value of W is equal to 120 in 24.2 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 into 130. So here you will get the W value by using this first combination. If I will use the second combination, M upon I is equal to sigma C upon Yc. Okay, so M once again W into 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 divided by I, it is common, sigma C, sigma T 64.61, Yc 70. Therefore W is equal to once again 64.61 into 24.2 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 into 70. Now tell me the W value by using the first combination where sigma T and Yt is present. What is the value of W?
0.20.
0.20.
$0.49.
0.49. Please check this particular W value once again. Value of M. Value of M. Please check the value. L square divided by 2. Whether it is 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 or 10 raised to 3. WL square divided by 2. 3000 square divided by 2. 4.5 into 10 raised to 6 or 10 raised to 3.
4.5 into 10 raised to 6.
4.5 into 10 raised to 3. Here you have told 10 raised to 6.
6
So,
6 or
sir,
3?
6 आहे sir.
6 आहे सर.
6 येते.
पहिल्या ज्याने W 4.96 आलंय.
ओके, 10 raised to 6.
पण 4.96 झालं.
Sir, W 4.96 येते sir.
4.96. Yes.
Ah, sir.
Now I am thinking that maybe it will be wrong. What is the value of W?
4.96.
4.96 kilonewton per meter. Similarly, use the second combination. W is equal to 4.96 Newton per mm. By using the first combination, you will get the 4.96 kilonewton per meter. If I will convert that particular kilonewton per meter into Newton mm, kilonewton to Newton 10 raised to 3 at the numerator, meter to mm 10 raised to 3 at the bottom side, 10 raised to 3, 10 raised to 3 will get cancelled. Therefore, only unit it will get changed, but value will remain same. Now, please tell me the value of W by using the second combination in the form of sigma C and Yc, whether it is same or different.
Same.
Same it is? Yes, 4.96 kilonewton per meter and W is equal to 4.96 Newton per mm. Means either considering safe tensile stress and safe compressive stress by both the combination, my answer is same. Means here whatever the two stresses we have taken for further calculation, that is 120 Newton per mm square which is less than 185 because it is minimum. Similarly, 64.61, this is sigma C, and another sigma C is 100. Out of that, I have taken 64.61. That means minimum stress value I have taken. If I will take this 100 Newton per mm square for further calculation, my W will be different. Means I can say that that beam is not safe. But here, always the safe value means by the both combination, my answer is same. So this W is equal to 4.96 kilonewton per meter. This is the safe value of UDL, which is calculated from tensile stress and compressive stress also. In examination, if you calculate by the single combination, that answer is also accepted. Just for your understanding whether answers are same or different, for that purpose here I have solved by using the both combination. Therefore, please keep in mind, in last whatever the number of problems we have solved in the last lecture and today's lecture, in that sigma T and sigma C we have to calculate. Okay, sigma T and sigma C we have to calculate. But here the value of sigma T and value of sigma C, it is given in the statement. But don't take that value as it is for the calculation. First of all, check. Like that I have checked it. Sigma T upon Yt is equal to sigma C upon Yc. त्याच्यामध्ये मी sigma C ची व्हॅल्यू काढली, sigma T फाइंड आउट केला, तो दिलेल्या व्हॅल्यू पेक्षा मिनिमम आहे का मॅक्सिमम आहे, दोन्ही व्हॅल्यू कंपेअर केल्या, त्यामधले दोन सिग्मा टी मधली व्हॅल्यू एक मिनिमम व्हॅल्यू कन्सिडर केली, तसंच सिग्मा सी मध्ये दोन व्हॅल्यू मधली मिनिमम व्हॅल्यू कन्सिडर केली आणि त्या दोन्ही मिनिमम व्हॅल्यू आय हॅव टेकन फॉर माय फर्दर कॅल्क्युलेशन. दॅट मीन्स whenever both the stress values are given, first of all calculate that stresses once again by using the given stresses, and out of that check minimum values of sigma t and minimum value of sigma c, and then calculate the W. त्याच्या अगोदरचा प्रॉब्लेम आपण सॉल्व्ह केला होता, त्याच्यामध्ये एक टेन्साइल स्ट्रेस दिला होता आणि W फाइंड आउट करायला लावलं होतं. तर तो tensile stress is given. Why? Because if the tensile stress will not be given, it is very difficult to calculate the value of W, and it is very difficult to calculate the value of sigma c. मग मी पहिल्यांदा काय केलं, सिग्मा टी चं कॉम्बिनेशन वापरून W ची व्हॅल्यू काढली आणि मग ती W ची व्हॅल्यू किंवा ती सिग्मा टी ची व्हॅल्यू वापरून सिग्मा सी ची पण व्हॅल्यू काढली. जसं इथं दोन वेळा आपण W ची व्हॅल्यू काढली आणि दोन वेळा आन्सर सेम आले, तसंच वन प्रॉब्लेम वी हॅव सॉल्व्ड इन द प्रिव्हियस, दॅट इज हिअर. You can check. That is, I have used the first combination W value I have kept. Then I have used the combination M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC. त्याच्यामध्ये मला sigma C किती आला बघा, 42.62.49. If I will use the second combination sigma T upon YT is equal to sigma C upon YC, again my answer is 62.48. Means by using any combination, your answer will be same. Similarly, here we have done the same thing by using the two stresses. Again I have calculated the two stresses. म्हणजे दिलेल्या टेन्साइल आणि कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह पासून परत दोन अजून टेन्साइल आणि कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह काढले, पण दोन टेन्साइल मधला मिनिमम घेतला, तसंच दोन कॉम्प्रेसिव्ह मधला मिनिमम घेतला, and the minimum value we have taken for the further calculation, and then we have calculated the value of W, that is 4.96 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Yes, have you understood this particular problem? Anybody is having any problem for this? Yes, everyone, have you understood? If you have any query, please ask me. Yes, everyone has understood. Yeah. So very simple problems are there, straightforward problems are there. So how many varieties we have solved in this particular problem? Let us see. We have started with the first derivation part. So in this particular chapter, what is the important things? One is the assumptions made in theory of pure bending. Then important derivation, that is M upon I is equal to sigma upon Y is equal to E upon R. Okay. Then we have started the numericals. But in order to solve that particular numericals, first of all, you have to understand all the important formulas for the moment of inertia calculation and the Y calculation or Y bar calculation. So for the common user sections like square, rectangle, hollow square, hollow rectangle, circular section, hollow circular section, that formulas also I have represented or I have explained. Then we have discussed about the important formulas related to the symmetrical I section, unsymmetrical I section, T section, inverted T section. And based on that, we have solved so many problems related to the bending stress calculation in the form of sigma T and sigma C. In that, again, the bending moment formulas are very important. 4 standard cases are there. Simply supported beam with UDL and point load, cantilever beam with UDL and point load. So 4 bending moment formulas are available. Sometimes in the statement, the type of beam and type of load is mentioned. So we can easily identify that which type of beam and which type of load is there. And accordingly, which formula we have to use, which bending moment formula I have to use. Sometimes in the statement, sagging and hogging, these words are mentioned. Sagging means it is subjected to the simply supported beam. Hogging means it is subjected to the cantilever beam. Another important things, in case of a simply supported beam, above neutral axis, it is compression, below neutral axis, it is tension. In case of a cantilever beam, above neutral axis, tension, below neutral axis, compression. Why these terms are important? Because we have to represent that particular Y bar in the form of YT and YC, because whenever I am calculating sigma T, I have to take YT distance. Whenever I have to take sigma C, I have to take the YC distance. After that, we have to state that which is the maximum bending stress, whether sigma T is maximum or sigma C is maximum. Then while drawing the stress distribution diagram, sigma T should be presented at the right side of the vertical line. It may be minimum, it may be maximum, it may be at the top side, it may be at the bottom side. It should be represented at the right side. But sigma C, it will be represented at the left side of the vertical line. It may be maximum, it may be minimum, it may be present at the top side, it may be present at the bottom side. Then again, 1 or 2 problems we have discussed related to the W, that is load calculation. In that, we have to calculate the value of M in the form of W. Whenever we have to calculate the W, please keep in mind either 1 stress or 2 stresses are mentioned in the statement. बघा, ह्याच्या अगोदर पण आपण एक प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व केला ज्याच्यामध्ये सिग्मा टी 30 न्यूटन पर एमएम स्क्वेअर आपल्याला दिला होता. म्हणजे जर W फाइंड आउट करायचा असेल तर 1 किंवा 2 स्ट्रेस तुम्हाला 100% त्या स्टेटमेंट मध्ये दिलेले असणार. So one problem we have solved where only 1 stress is given. Another problem we have solved just now where the 2 stresses are given, but in that again 2 extra stresses we have calculated, and out of the 4 stresses किंवा 2 सिग्मा टी मधले एक मिनिमम घेतला, 2 सिग्मा सी मधला मिनिमम घेतला, and then by using the combination M upon I is equal to sigma T upon YT, I have calculated W. M upon I is equal to sigma C upon YC, again I have calculated W. So these are the different types of the variety of the problems based on the bending stress calculation. Okay, so with this we have finished this particular chapter, that is chapter number 6, bending stresses in the beams. Okay, so with this we will stop today.